fine. Just
Sad.
there's no sad. Hi, it's May 19th, Thursday. And each class is getting recorded separately, and I will also be sending this out on a link on Remind on the off chance it's a thing that you want to relive again. But I will be sending out like all the different class periods for those kids to get a chance to watch if you are wanting to. So from here, we just got started a little bit with you guys before lunch. Gonna be honest, you're gonna have to remind me a little bit how far I got with you guys.
You're talking about creeping on kids.
Yeah, that was such a good stop. But the reason, what I mean by creeping on kids is the fact that I have kids who live in my neighborhood, and I go to the neighborhood pool, and it seems to freak them out whenever they suddenly realize that I'm at the pool. I don't like sit there and like creep on children. I mean the fact that I go to the pool and they go to the pool, and it seems to freak them out. So, I mean, they're not my current students because it's summertime. But yes, it is usually past students and possibly future students, but I don't know who they are. I mean, I just see random children there, and I think that'd be creepy if I knew who they were. So, anyway, so no wonder you guys were so entertained with that one as we came back from there.
We thought it meant something else.
Yeah, no, just your own little creepiness on that one. All right. Getting there. Thank you. Sorry. I'm still getting over whatever the stupid thing was that hit me. So, let's go into it. Told you guys that I hate this week, and that's where I was going with the fact that I enjoyed teaching and what I do. And part of it goes to, I think if you guys had almost any other teacher tell you that they were going to spend multiple days in a row telling you stories about their childhood, it would begin the student revolution. And yet I spent multiple days telling you guys stories about my childhood, and it was not a revolution. I mean, given I was also telling you stories about me getting arrested, which I'm sure you found highly entertaining, but it was still me sitting and telling you stories about my childhood. The reason I did that was to build up to today, because I want today and what we talk about to have weight and meaning. And so that's why I tell you those stories. Because I think if I just jumped straight into today, it wouldn't work quite the same way. I think too many adults, humans, don't let you see that they're vulnerable and that they're human. I think many of your parents and probably most of your teachers never try to let you see what it was like when they were younger, or the fact that they made mistakes, or the fact that it's okay to make a mistake. And I am okay making mistakes. That's why I like making mistakes on the board every day. When you guys come in and I put like a typo or something like that, because it's showing you in a subtle way that making mistakes is an okay thing to do. So I told you guys about my 3 biggest mistakes, my biggest things that brought me shame in my life. That was my way of opening up to you in an attempt to try and earn your trust so that the conversation we have today has meaning. But I only touched onto my past with you guys. I mentioned a little bit about the fact that my family has alcohol and drug problems. I am the most normal person in my family, which says something, because no part of this should be normal. I dress up in women's clothes and dance around with children in the woods.
What?
Camp Tecumseh, you may have been there. Right. So, I appreciate you guys not just blindly accepting that. But in my family, I am the one that is held up as like this symbol of what the other people of my family should try to aspire to be. And I always tell them, like, I'm not normal. And they're like, I know, but you're successful and you're settled and you have your life together. And I'm like, still wouldn't go the same way. And oh no, I forgot to plug in the microphone. Hang on one second. You can hear me now. My life was a struggle growing up. I know I come across as a happy, smiley, friendly person when you guys see me up here in the front of the classroom. And I've given you guys little glimpses of me growing up, the story of me giving a speech, and the fact that I cried in front of the classroom, the stories of me, and the fact that I was a wee bit on the dorky side when I was growing up, to humanize myself in different ways. But when kids come and talk to me after school, it's hard for a kid to have issues that I have not dealt with. My birth father abandoned me when I was 6 years old. He and my mom divorced, and then he decided he wanted nothing to do with me, and so he left. So I have not seen my birth father since I was a wee little child. When I was 16, my mom and my stepdad, who had raised me since I was a little before 6, divorced, and that was a struggle. I've had a number of members of my family die. I was abused as a child growing up, not from my mom and dad, but from a family member, and I've had to deal with abuse and how to recover from that. Mental health is a huge part of my family, both with bipolar and depression and anxiety. And the reason I tell you this is I know you guys go through things. I know kids struggle, and I struggled a lot as a kid. And you can come out the other side. It's partly why I show you that side of myself, is the fact that I know a lot of kids look up to me, and I know a lot of kids enjoy my class. And so I want you to understand that I was not a kid who was born into this perfect, happy place. I was not this kid that had that perfect, happy home. I love my parents, and my parents and I got along, but that doesn't mean I did not come from dysfunction. And I think it's important because a lot of you guys come from dysfunction. Not all of you, but enough of you have dysfunction and pain in your life that I think it's important for you to see that you can come out the other side of it and still be okay. That you can get through abuse as a child and divorce and all of these other things happening, and you can still be a fairly happy person as an adult. I used to not have this talk with my advanced classes. I used to not tell stories like this to my advanced classes, and we would do other things at the end of the year. And it's because when I was younger, I was a much more naive person, a more naive teacher. And I thought that my advanced classes and the kids in my advanced classes didn't have the same struggles and pains that my regular kids did. That you guys were smart, and that because you were smart and that you were surrounded by these other smart kids, that your lives were probably fairly close to perfect and good, and there was no need to touch on these things. And I was an idiot, because that's not true. Advanced kids struggle just as much as any other kid does, and oftentimes they struggle more. One of the first girls who came back to talk to me because she got pregnant in high school was from my advanced class. One of my first boys who dropped out at 16 was from my advanced class. Some of my kids who have struggled the hardest and come back and told me stories have been from my advanced classes. And I've realized that there's no hiding from evil and pain and the bad stuff that happens in your life. Being smart, being good doesn't shield you. It's going to find you, and it's going to haunt you no matter what. I've mentioned that kids come back and talk to me, and the fact that it's helped me learn a lot. I've become a better teacher and a better human because of conversations I have with students. I ask you guys your opinions throughout the year because I respect them. Now, to be honest, I'll respect your opinion more when you become an 8th grader and when you guys go to high school and you guys get to put more distance between me and whatever other big things happen in your life. And when you come back and talk to me, I will ask you the same questions. The paths that are in front of you, how has it gone? I see for every single one of you, when I look at you and when I talk to you, two paths. A path of lightness and a path of darkness and pain. And I think every human has two paths in front of them. And you get to choose which path you give strength to. There's an old Native American adage that we have two wolves inside of us, a wolf of happiness and a wolf of pain. And it's the wolf that you feed is the one that grows. And the idea is, which path, which wolf do you feed in your life? You're all going to have pain. You're all going to have your own struggles. One of those quotes that I put up there is the be kind, for everyone is struggling with a thing. And I've realized that everyone is struggling with a thing. Whether it's anxiety, whether it's parents that are abusive, whether it's the fact that you have to raise siblings on your own, whether it's you feel ignored, every kid has pain. Every kid has struggle. And when I see you guys in my class, and you guys make me care about you, which is what you did this year, you've made me like you. Teaching is easier if you don't like kids. It's a lot easier if you don't like kids because you're annoying. And I mean that from a place of love. But you've been in classes and you've seen kids, and they're frustrating. But at the same time, I wouldn't trade it for the world. And what you guys have done this year is, even when you guys don't do my homework and you fail a test, or I make you stand, or you've made a poor choice in class, you still make me like you because you're still good people. And liking you means I care about you. And the problem with caring about someone is you don't turn it off. When tomorrow happens, I don't just suddenly stop liking you. I don't suddenly stop caring about you. My caring about you continues until you choose to have it stop. And that's part of what hurts me this week, is the realization that tomorrow is the last time I will see some of you, because my interaction with you is now in your hands after tomorrow. I won't talk to you. I won't see you unless you choose to come see me, because you're going to be in 8th grade on a different side of the school. And so your interacting with me is your choice if you decide to seek me out or not. When you go on to high school, you're going to be in a new building. Your seeing of me and interacting with me will be limited to running into me at football games or basketball games, or maybe every once in a while at the movie theater, or for those poor unfortunate souls at the pool. And so it's up to you whether you want to come back and talk to me, which means I don't get to have an impact on you after today. And if I care about who you're going to become, and if I care about which of the two wolves in your soul you're going to feed, I only get this moment to try and help you. We can't get rid of bullies. Ever. It's not going to be a thing. I know it was a conversation we had earlier this year when we did our Socratic Circle and we talked about getting rid of them. But I'm going to be honest with you. They're not going anywhere. We're never going to get rid of bullies. They're always going to exist. And it's because it's part of human nature. If we could get rid of bullies, we wouldn't have Karens in the world. We wouldn't have those Chads in the world. They wouldn't be showing up on social media, but they do. As long as humans have pain, we are going to have bullies. And I used to hate the kids that were bullies. I didn't like them because they made kids I cared about hurt. And I didn't like kids who made other kids be in pain. But then kids came back and talked to me. And the problem with being me is all kids talk to me. Smart kids, dumb kids, popular kids, dorky kids, they all come back and talk to me. It's one of the joys of me being who I am is I think every kid, regardless of what social group you belong to, you feel accepted by me. And it's a thing that I push to do. But the problem for me is I have the kids who get bullied and they come back and talk to me, and I hear their stories and see their tears and what happens. And then I have the bullies also come back and talk to me, and I have them sit in my room and cry. And over the years I've discovered why kids bully and why they do what they do, and it's made me realize that it's not a thing that's going to disappear. If you are a kid who has a good home life, if you are a kid who your parents sit around the dinner table and have conversations with you, and tell you that they love you and follow up on homework that you have done or don't have done, and you guys get to spend vacations together, and they hug you and you feel affection from them, that's wonderful. That's what every kid should have. When you're 12 and 13, every kid should go home to that. What I did not realize when I was your age, and what I don't think kids realize now, is not every kid has that. Not every kid in this room has that. We have kids at our school, we have kids in this room who have bad home lives, who have parents who are abusive, who have parents who physically abusive, emotionally abusive. I have kids who've never had an adult related to them say the words, "I love you," to them. I have kids who have to raise their siblings on their own because parents are alcoholics, because parents are doing drugs. And what you have to realize, when you are 12 and 13 years old and you're dealing with that, it makes you angry because you see kids around you who don't have that. You see kids around you who have a happy home life, and that is a lot for a kid to take on. And those kids become angry and they become jealous, and they realize it is too much weight for kids to handle. So when that happens, they lash out. They don't lash out because they hate you. They lash out because they hate the fact that life gave them a bad deal. And life gives people bad deals. I wish I could tell you that life is fair, and if you work hard, everything is going to be equal, but it's not. And life sucks. There's racism in the world, there's sexism in the world, there are people who are just evil in the world, and we can't always avoid it. And some kids learn that at a very early age, and they learn that at 12 and 13 years old, or they learn that when they're younger, and you can't expect a kid like that to not be angry. And when those kids are angry, it lashes out at others. The one in blue, if you are a kid whose life is good, and in my story now doesn't really hit you as hard because you have that happy home, that's good. That makes my life easier as a teacher because you're the kid that does your homework. You're the kid that is that leader in class. You're the kid that can speak up and be confident. And that's good for me as a teacher because you make my life easier. The problem is, you don't make my job important. It's the other kids who need teachers like me. They are the kids whose lives suck. Those kids who are going through all of this bad stuff. And those are the kids who my job is important to. Because for them, the kids that I punish, the kids that I hold responsible for their choices, for those kids, stable adults are a critical part of life. And I have realized over the years that is part of what my job is for you guys. With how I run my class, for some of you, my class is a place where you get to be happy and you get to feel accepted. And you know you get to come in here, and regardless of your race, of your sexuality, of how you identify, I am going to mock you equally. I do not play favorites. Whether you think you are my favorite kid or my least favorite kid, I am going to harass you and I am going to love you because this is a place where you feel welcomed. And for that, I am happy. But I have other kids where that is not my role for them. I have kids where my role for them is to be the adult that cares. Because I've learned I have kids who don't have an adult who ever says the words, "I love you," or "you can do this," or "I'm not going to give up on you." And so that's why I run my class the way I do. So that you guys will always have that adult who says that for you. For others of you, you need someone to listen. And I've realized that at the junior high level, a lot of it is finding someone who will hear you when you speak. A lot of kids don't feel heard. They feel that friends can't hear what they're saying, or parents aren't people that can hear what they're saying, and they need someone who makes them feel justified, someone who gives their existence weight and meaning. And for some kids, that's the role I play. They talk to me, and I listen, and I accept, and I smile, and that's the job I have. As you guys move forward with the paths that are in front of you, that dark path and that light path, I can't force you onto a path. No one can force you onto a path. Your parents can't force you. Your friends can't force you. Your teachers can't force you. No one can ever force you between good path and dark path. And for some of you guys, that dark path, as I mentioned, is going to be drugs and alcohol. And it's coming soon. I know for someone in this room, and I don't know who yet, it's going to be this summer. For others of you, it's going to be next school year, where that is going to be the dark path that is in front of you. And I would love to tell you that drugs and alcohol are bad, and you shouldn't do them. But you've heard that before. If drugs and alcohol didn't work, no one would ever do them, and we would never have a drug and alcohol problem. But we have a raging drug and alcohol problem, because drugs and alcohol work. The problem is they don't work the way you want them to. What they do is they help cover pain, and a lot of kids are in pain. A lot of kids have hurt they don't know how to deal with. And those of you who have that pain, who have that hurt that is inside of you, it is going to be very tempting to go down that path. Because when you try drugs, when you try alcohol, you are going to discover it works, and it does cover the pain, and it does make you feel better. The problem is, it's short term. You're not getting rid of the pain. You're putting a Band-Aid on whatever that pain is, and all it does is keep having you slide down that path. I can tell you the choices I made. Your parents can tell you what choices they want you to make. Your friends can influence you with what they want you to do. But when it comes to life, only one person gets to make the choices in your life, and that's you. When you get to that point in your life, when you have those tough choices, understand it is okay to screw up. Messing up and making the wrong choice is part of life. What you have to do is learn from them and recognize when you make those poor choices. And a lot of you wear masks at school, meaning you hide who you really are. Because if you have pain at home, you don't want people to know that you have pain. Whether it's you suffering from ADHD or diabetes, or I have kids suffering from Tourette's, or anxiety, or depression, suicidal thoughts. You don't want other people to know what that pain is. So people put on masks so that you can't see how they feel. I know this because I wear a mask every day. The personality you see in front of you is not my real personality. My real personality is the shy, quiet kid. And I've mentioned that a couple times with you guys, that for me, I'm an introvert. I want to sit in the back of the room and not be in front and have people stare at me. But I also realize that doesn't make me a good teacher. And I realized when I was in high school, it was not the person I wanted to be. I was the shy, quiet kid who wanted to be outgoing. I wanted to be popular. I wanted to be that person that everyone would look at and laugh. So I put on a mask where I pretended to be that person. And I've realized over the years, confidence is a lie with anyone. No one. I'm guaranteeing you right now to this day, no one has confidence. No adult, no actor, no human has confidence. Confidence is an act people put on. It is when you decide not to let other people's opinions influence you or change who you are. That's what confidence is. That's what confidence is for me. So, my advice to you guys is, are you who you want to be? Look at who you are. Are you happy with the version of you that exists right now? And if not, why are you not that person? Are you angry? Are you quiet? Are you outgoing? Are you confident? Are you not? And my question is, if you are not the person that you want to be, what is stopping you from being that person? Are you afraid of what other people are going to say about you? Is it fear about what the popular kids are going to do? Well, my question is, why do you care? You choose who impacts your life. If you think my words are important, let me impact your life. If some other kid at this school is someone that you think is important, you listen to them. But do not let other kids who you do not respect change who you are. The back of our hero shirt, the back of every hero shirt going back since I first started making them, says fearlessly be yourself. It was something my stepdad taught me when I was younger, and it was a thing that I embraced. The idea that do not let other people change who you want to be. Figure out who you want to be and embrace it fearlessly. Fear is a thing that controls you. Fear of other people, fear of failure, fear of anything. You only get one chance to be you. Don't go through life worried about what someone else says about you. Choose the version of you that you want to put forward. Next year in 8th grade, be who you want to be. Be outgoing. If there is a girl, if there's a guy you want to ask out, why don't you? What stops you? Fear? Are you worried about them turning you down? Okay. If they do, it wasn't meant to be. If not, you are letting that fear control you. And fear will control you forever. Fear will control you until you stop letting it have power over you. You choose who has power over you. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. I was bullied as a kid a lot, and it made me feel like crap a lot, until I realized no one gets to make you feel bad unless you let them have that power over you. So my advice to you going forward is, no one has power over you anymore. No one lies to you. No one controls you. The only one that controls you is you. See?